Welcome to The Terrible Take, mini podcast telling Steelers Nation what's on our mind. I'm Alex Kozora. When it comes to the NFL draft, teams evaluate hundreds of data points: a player's height, weight, arm length, 40 time, production, character, medical, the list goes on and on. I'm not surprising anyone with that information. But for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, it might start and end with one question. Did you play in 2020? In past comments, GM Kevin Colbert hinted the team would devalue players who opted out of the 2020 season. Not from a moralistic, doesn't love the game standpoint, but just from an informational one. Guys who didn't play in 2020 either by choice or because their school didn't have football don't have as lengthy of a resume as the guys who did. For example, and I'm not saying this guy is or isn't on the Steelers' radar, he was just a name I came across last night. Central Florida cornerback Tay Gowan. He's a senior, so you'd think there'd be a lot of tape with him, right? Not so. He began his college career at Miami, Ohio in 2016, wound up at Butler Community College for 2018 before transferring to UCF in 2019. He started 9 games that year, but opted out for 2020. His reasons were understandable. His daughter was born, and he himself tested positive for COVID. No one should hold that choice against him. In fact, I'll praise it. But from a draft evaluation standpoint, he's a one-year corner who hasn't played football in 16 months. That just makes him difficult to evaluate. Or how about Washington Edge Joe Tryon? He had a fantastic 2019 season, 12.5 tackles for loss and 8 sacks. He's big, he plays in a good conference, he should be squarely on the Steelers' radar. But he too opted out of this past season. Now that muddies up the evaluation of his game, especially knowing a position like Edge will be someone probably playing right away. Is that guy ready? How much rust is there? Questions the Steelers will have to ask themselves, answers they'll never fully get. There's a reason why the Steelers focus on so many upperclassmen in the 2020 draft class. Those guys had the most information available. It's one of many examples why this draft will be more challenging than any other. Teams love to know everything for the draft, even if it only means hitting on a pick 50% of the time. The less teams can predict and project, the more risk that exists. And teams like Pittsburgh, as much as they can, are pretty risk-adverse when it comes to the draft. Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast with myself and Dave Bryan every Tuesday and Friday.